My name is Sarah Gonzalez, and I am Director of Graduate Programs at the William S. Boyd School of Law at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. In this video, I will provide an overview of the different law degree programs available in the U.S. for international candidates that are looking at studying law in the United States. As mentioned in previous videos, legal education in the U.S. is offered at the graduate level. There are 3 different types of law programs available in the U.S. The first degree of law is a Juris Doctorate, or JD degree in law. This is a 3-year law degree program, and it is the law degree that most U.S. Candidates will take to qualify for a bar exam in the United States. The second degree of law is the LLM degree, which is a Master's of Law program, and the third degree of law is the JSD or SJD, which is the Doctoral in Law, which is typically a 3 to 4 year program. Just to go into a little bit more detail of the different degree programs, all law schools in the U.S. will offer some sort of JD program. The JD program will offer your general courses like contracts, torts, civil procedure, evidence. Much of the curriculum is very similar when it comes to JD programs because the preparation of these programs are specifically geared toward with the bar exam in mind. Law schools will have different elements that distinguish themselves, like certificate programs or institutes or specializations that can enhance the JD experience. And so when it comes to JD programs, many candidates will look at location, size, accessibility of faculty members, as well as the rankings of a particular program. When it comes to the second degree of law, this is the most popular option for international candidates, and that is the LLM or Master's degree in law. For LLM programs, I kind of describe them in 2 different ways. You will either have a general program in U.S. law or an LLM degree that will be flexible enough for you to craft your own. I kind of describe this as the buffet of legal education. I want this one, I'll take this class and maybe a bankruptcy course, but you have the flexibility to, in a way, design your own program. The second type of LLM degree offered is a specialized program. This will be an LLM in bankruptcy, an LLM in space law, an LLM in healthcare, intellectual property. There are a variety of different specializations available, and I will link a website below where you can look up the various different specializations available. At UNLV, we specialize in gaming law, and so part of what you will want to consider is looking at whether or not you want a general LLM or a specialized LLM program. The third degree of law is the doctrinal program. This is typically for those that want to teach in an area of law and they want a doctoral degree. For those that are considering doctoral programs, you will want to think about that early on because doctoral programs will have a requirement that you complete an LLM in order to be eligible to apply. Depending on the program that you're looking at, some of them will accept an LLM here in the United States from any of the different law degree programs, or some of them are very specialized that will only accept an LLM from their particular institution. So if you know that you want to do a doctoral program, think about that even when you're looking at LLM programs because it may come into play. And so if you have your mindset on doing a doctoral program at a specific institution, look at their requirements to see what they will require when it comes to the LLM program to help you figure out if you need to be doing your LLM at their institution or any other institution. Just things to consider. When it comes to international students pursuing legal education, one element I do like to point out is there's a trend or emergence of non-law master's programs available at law schools across the U.S. These are typically Masters of Legal Studies, Masters of Science in Law, or some other degree name. There are 20 different titles for these alternative master's programs. If you have an international first degree of law, I would really limit yourself to the traditional law degrees, which would be the JD, the LLM, or the SJD. These master's programs are great alternatives For those that perhaps have a bachelor's degree in human resources or in business or in some other non-law area, these Masters of Law programs will provide students with the concepts and a general understanding of law elements, but they are not law degrees, so they will not make you eligible to sit for a bar exam or practice law in any way. They're typically for mid-career professionals who already are working in the field and maybe want to understand some law concepts that are not interested in practicing law. So do make sure you do your research to figure out the different degree options. One of the questions I always get from applicants are whether or not they should be pursuing a JD or an LLM degree if their intent is to practice law in the U.S. or to specialize in a particular area. I always tell applicants to really think, to consider your options with the end in mind. Are you looking at practicing law here in the United States? Are you looking at practicing law at an international law firm? Are you looking at having the understanding of U.S. law, but perhaps in a corporation or organization in your home country? By thinking about what you're looking to accomplish, you can then work backwards to figure out, again, the degree that will help you do that. For those that are doing the GED degree, it's 3 years of U.S. legal education, so it's a great option for those that are looking at practicing law here in the United States. You're going to have 3 years of U.S. legal education, 3 years of finding clerkships, 3 years of summer internships, 3 years of doing the networking and finding opportunities to practice here in the United States. The LLM program will qualify you for a bar exam. You, again, look at the different states and the different requirements that you're looking at, but you can qualify for a bar exam with an LLM degree. But in many instances, when you're applying to law firms for positions here in the United States, you're coming in with an international first degree of law and that second advanced law degree. You're overqualified for many of the starting positions, and so depending on what you're looking to accomplish, having the additional opportunity to do externships, gain work experience, clerkships, or other elements that can really lead to job opportunities, it would be helpful through a JD program. With LLM programs, these are typically catered for those that want to qualify for a bar exam, take it so that they can work in an international law firm in their home country. That's a great option. If they're looking at specializing in a particular area, there is a law school that did a survey a couple years back where they went to international law firms and they asked them whether or not they wanted their candidates applying for positions at their firms to have sat for a U.S. bar exam, and only 18% had said it would be nice, but what they were looking for were candidates that had a specialization in a particular area of law. So for them, having that specialization made them provided that expertise so that they can handle those types of cases. So having that LLM in environmental or healthcare, or other specialized areas help them manage those cases that came to them in those specialized areas of law. And so again, if you're looking at practicing law at a law firm, international market, having that LLM may make you more marketable than having 3 years of a U.S. Law degree. One element you may want to consider when it comes to LLM programs, you're going to have different levels of accessibility for some of the JD coursework. There are some LLM programs that will let you take coursework as part of your electives as part of the LLM, where you can take your contracts, your evidence, your civil procedure, some of the general courses that will either qualify for a bar exam or just be helpful to take to better understand the U.S. Legal education system. There are other LLM programs that have you locked in the sense that you're taking only the courses that are required or will go through a cohort model where it's just the group of LLM students taking the same series of courses through the program. When it comes to picking the right program, you do want to ask questions. Ask the administrator of that LLM program, how accessible are the courses? Will you be able to take some of the general law courses as part of that LLM experience? Or if you are moving in part of that cohort model and be limited to just the the LLM curriculum? Will you have access to some of the clinics or the externship programs to be able to get some practical experience? And so when it comes to choosing between the JD or LLM, again, it will vary depending on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to work here in the United States, the JD program will be more marketable. If you're looking at practicing outside the US in a law firm with a specialization or just having an overview of US law, then going for a 1-year LLM program may make more sense. There are a couple law schools that will give you some hybrid options where you can go through and do either a transfer program. You start an LLM, those courses are transferred into the JD program, and you continue into the JD program. There are some law programs that will offer some sort of hybrid program or consecutive program where you go through the JD program and you can add on the LLM, where you stay an additional semester or 2 semesters to be able to do the LLM program. Or there may be a program that will offer a 2-year accelerated JD program where you're going year-round and you're going fall, spring, and summer for 6 terms. Those programs don't save you money in the sense that you're still paying the same tuition, but they'll save you money when it comes to living expenses. Each of the different schools will have different requirements when it comes to application for some of these hybrid programs. Check with the schools that you're looking at. Some will still require that you take the LSAT exam, which is the entrance exam for JD programs, and some will not. They'll look at your grades within that LLM program. But those are some elements to consider when it comes to choosing the right degree for your legal education in the US.